Oh, yeah. How are you, folks? Welcome on a Wednesday. Great state of Georgia. Great city, Savannah. Great county, Chatham. Great street, Maple. Don't want to dox myself. Good to be with you. Got a great show today. We love this guy. We've had him on many times, a regular on the show. Very handsome, very charming, a funny fuck. That's right, it's me. That's right, it's me. We did Dallas interview, if you remember, back in January. We did a interview because people wanted to hear a little more about me. And I don't believe that, but apparently, according to my shrink, they want to go, what the fuck's your problem? So we're going to do part two, show you part two of an interview. Dallas asking me about more personal stuff, whether it be my first job or college or whatever, what makes me be so unpleasant, stuff like that. So without further ado, here is part two of me.
I'm Don Lemon.
You're Katie Couric with better legs.
Much better legs. My calf muscles look really good.
Yes, you're shredded for a guy in his late 70s.
This is true. This is true.
Doesn't he look like one of the Cough Drop brothers?
Cough Drop brothers.
Smith, look up. You want to have a good laugh? Right now, people are shitting their pants at home.
No, the best
Smith Cough Drops.
The best one I've gotten so far was I look like Jeb Stuart or J.B. Stewart. Jeb Stuart. Yeah, Jeb Stuart.
Jeb Stuart.
He was a Confederate general.
You look like every Confederate general. What are you shitting me? Jeb Stuart. Pick a good one.
Yeah. Well, at least he was for the South, so
that's good enough for us.
Right.
Doesn't it? Duck Dynasty. That guy's back, his ghost.
So yeah, we're sitting here. We're going to do part two of Up Close and Personal with Nick. Part one, if you want to go back and watch it again to refresh yourself, is going to be go back to January 29th. And that'll be
what year?
Of this year.
Of this year.
Yep. So that'll be part one. So go back, watch that, then watch this. Or don't. Or go fuck yourself or whatever. But we're going to...
The reason we're doing it is people, because... My wife, she follows a lot of the stuff on Facebook and blah, blah, blah. And people requested, there's a couple of shows where I mentioned stuff that happened to me personally. And people like, more stories, more personal. Mm-hmm. And even Tommy, my manager, who pays no attention, says that people love that. They love when you And I said, well, I'm not Tom fucking Hanks. Who gives a shit? I'm a fucking working class asshole. But anyways... back by popular demand, yes. Second half of the interview.
Yep, absolutely. Right. So where we left off was high school sports and kind of at the end of your high school, and which I think is a natural segue into college.
College. Didn't have a shitload of choices. Tufts University, which is like almost Ivy League. And they're right in Boston, in Medford, Mass. It's like a medical. It's known for medical. And the Tufts, it was Division III football, and their coach loved me. Vic, don't forget his name. Anyways, he caught the winning pass against Harvard in the most famous Harvard-Yale game. And I can't remember his name. Anyways, he wanted me to play it, and I was snickering in the back of my head going, is this guy, does he realize I'm not dumb? I mean, but shut up.
I didn't say anything.
But a little above average student, or a little above average. I'm going by, 399 out of 401. No. So I was just kind of snickering, going, I don't have the grades to get in there, and guess what? I was right. But he did. I was just flattered that he pulled all these strings. But what am I going to be, a podiatrist?
Right.
The fuck. Right. So yeah, that was one of them. UNH came. I must have told the story. We must have ended it with the guy, the head coach of UNH, speaking at a banquet my senior year in high school. I told that, right?
I think so.
And my coach got up and was bragging how I played with a shoulder and a leather harness to keep it in for the last 3 games. I thought they told me I was going to UNH in a full ride, and right after my coach said that, they had to sit down and go, he's damaged goods, or whatever the fuck. I probably already mentioned that. But, so at BU, I got accepted at BU, And I literally went, I'm not going to go to BU because there's too many distractions. How do I know that? Well, I grew up 20 miles from Boston, and I was in Boston every night that I could get and get in all kinds of trouble. Not serious trouble, but I know there was enough distractions. There was enough prostitutes and quite a few bars run by Irish fellas.
Definitely went to a place with minimal distractions.
Good point. So, and that was honestly that was part of the thinking. University of Maine at Orono, and they recruited me too for football. The coach, Cowboy Jack Bicknell. If you follow college football, he was Doug. I probably talked about this too. We'll get past it. He was Doug Flutie's coach at BC, and he went on to. I think he did some NFL scouting or assistant coaching. He was a pretty good coach. So he recruited me. But I had to have my shoulders fixed right after high school. I blew out both. I had to have them both reconstructed. And decided to do that right after high school and my freshman year up at Maine. So I couldn't work out because I just had my shoulders done. I weighed, about 175 soaking wet, 180 maybe. And I walk in because I knew I wanted to still play football, even against the doctor's advice. Lyle McKaylee, great doctor. I don't know if he's still alive. So I walked into Jack Bicknell's office one day. I got the balls up and reintroduced myself. I said, "You recruited me up here as a strong safety." And he's looking at me. I remember I'm in a sweat jacket. I look like Dorothy Hamill. I was, and he was so goddamn arrogant to me. And I told him, I said, "You recruited me up here, but I had my shoulders operated on, and I was just wondering, is there somewhere I can fit in?" I was hoping he'd go, "Well, come out to spring ball and see what you got." He's like, "Well, you can." He literally said this: "You can carry water and stuff," which that's. He might as well have said, "Get the fuck out of my office. Exactly. You're too small." I mean, it was the most insulting fucking. I walked out of there going, "Motherfucker." So Jack, if you see this, kiss my ass. Anyways, yeah, you can. He said literally, you can carry water and stuff. I couldn't. I know that he might as well spit in my face. I would have felt better. So I go. I went okay, and I just sort of walked out without even hearing what else he wanted to fucking. So I leave and I wait till my shoulders heal and walk on at spring football. I took his advice, but I went home over the summer and lifted weights 7 days a week. In my buddy Mike Szynski's, I hope we didn't say all this because this is sort of still. And in my buddy Mike Szynski's garage, I would come home. Mr. Szynski would come up from work, and I'd be in there pumping iron, and he'd love it because he used to play for Mr. Si was a fucking alpha male, and he goes, "Where's my son? He should be fucking in here with you." His son was a co-captain or tri-captain in high school. Anyway, so I busted my balls. I'm lifting weights and running every night and going to the high school and working out and doing all that shit. And then went back to Maine and walked on spring of my sophomore year. And I opened some eyes, and so they have me behind a kid, Paul Phelan, was just a great white kid. He was an All-American in high school in lacrosse, but he was just a fucking great football player. He could return punts. He was a running back and just, a little faster than me. So I was sort of behind him. And in the spring game, as you know, college football, you have winter workouts where you get up at 6 in the morning to be at the field house by 6:30. This is Orono, Maine in February.
Oof.
And literally, I'm walking from my dorm. Luckily, it wasn't that far to the gym, but it's snowing, -6 or whatever the fuck. And you have winter workouts where they have all these drills and shit. And I had never been through it. I was excited, I'm in with the rest. Nobody knew me or whatever the fuck. And all the big linemen are throwing up because we had to sprint around twice, whatever the track is. And the linemen, fucking, all we did was drink the day the season ended, right? All they did.
Yeah.
And they're literally throwing up all over the field house. And then they time you in the 40 and shit. And I was real excited just to be, I'm doing it. I'm going to play. Yeah. And I opened a few eyes. I went out for spring ball, and like I said, they had me behind Phelan. And then the spring game, at the end of the year, you have an inter-squad game, like blue versus white. Yep. And I broke one for about 70 yards. I got caught from behind, but I bounced off a linebacker, spun around, and went about 70 yards.
Nice.
Got tackled at like the 5, and all of a sudden now they all know me. They're going, DiPaolo, you get caught by Downey.
Not the way you want it.
Yeah, I'm like, I ran out of gas. Which I'd never happened to me ever again. But I opened some eyes at spring ball. So then comes fall, my junior year. I go out, and now I'm behind a guy named Lorenzo Bollier, who still owns every record up at Maine. He was a black guy. He was a gang member out of Hartford. At least that's what I was told, out of Hartford, Connecticut. He was about 6'2", about 250. Just fucking ripped naturally. Nice guy, too. I don't even know if that part, I'm like, this guy...
Doesn't add up.
But you could tell. If you pissed him off, he'd fucking kill you. And I saw somebody piss him off. They were playing, this was before practice. A couple of guys, football players, are playing basketball pickup game in the field house. Mm-hmm. And this little running back who was like 5th string, he was a track star somewhere in Massachusetts. He fucking bangs into Lorenzo, and I go, oh Jesus! And then he goes like this to Lorenzo. Lorenzo goes like this. Lorenzo goes like bang, out like a light, out like right bang, out like a fucking light. I went, oh God. Anyways, I'm behind him now for half the season, my junior year. He breaks his leg. Guess who's up? And guess what? Right before homecoming. So now I'm starting. And against UMass up at Maine, 11,000 people, 11,000 people. That's a huge, for Maine football. And all my dormitory buddies, I lived in a dorm my freshman year, Gannett Hall. And on the second floor, all those guys, came back. The ones that were seniors that graduated before I did, they come back for homecoming, and they see me. They didn't know me as an athlete. I never really said anything about it. I just drank with them and had fun. And they couldn't believe that, first of all, I was playing football. Right, I never said anything. So I had to fill in. Little did I know that would be the highlight of my football career that day. Was the highlight of my... We ran like a double reverse, and I went 65 yards.
Fuck yeah.
And it was just wide open. The fucking line just crushed everybody down. I couldn't believe it. When the guy handed it off, Phelan handed it off to me, I go, oh my God. 65 yards, baby. Yeah. And scored, and I scored another touchdown. And that was the high of my football career. Homecoming, 11,000 people. Yeah. I know it's not a big deal, folks.
First starting game.
First starting game. Yeah. My parents are up there. And I go back to Sigma Nu because I was pledging Sigma Nu, the fraternity. And all these guys, I come in and they're like, even guys that didn't know me, old guys. It was a fucking highlight. And my family's up there. I think my sister came up, my parents, they wanted to have dinner. I had dinner in about 8 minutes. I go, I got to go get laid then. Which I didn't. Ended up getting drunk, getting in a fight with somebody. Like athletes would do. Right. They should be getting laid. But it was cool. The school paper had my name in the fucking headlines and shit,
nice.
And Richie Labonte was the quarterback, was my roommate. He was a kid from York, Maine, who was very good. That was the extent of, I played on. So anyways, we won the Yankee Conference Championship.
Well, where did the depression come in?
That was freshman year of high school.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Freshman year of high school.
Gotcha.
I don't know. Again, looking back on it, we know now it's just growing and hormones, and a lot of people go through it. But let me tell you something, folks. I don't laugh at anybody who's depressed.
Right.
It was the weirdest. I don't know how it came on, but it was. Somebody explained it perfectly, explaining depression. They go, it's like if somebody told you won the lottery, right? Mm-hmm. For fucking $40 million. And then a half hour later they go, no, we made a mistake, wrong ticket. You would have the same emotion. Mm-hmm. It wouldn't bother you. It didn't excite you when you it's the weird it's terrifying. Mm-hmm. I was inside my own head. I don't know if that's how most depressed people are. I couldn't get out of my own head. And Louis C.K. said this. He said, there's nothing more frightening than being afraid of your own mind. which is a great fucking line.
That's accurate.
And dude, my parents are like, what's wrong with you? We had a boat. I remember the whole family go out on the boat. My parents are like trying to cheer me up. Just a small fiberglass boat. I'm sitting at the front. They're all talking and yapping, and I'm just fucking staring off into space, going, when is this going to fucking... I'm still in my head. Not even... It's just horrible. So... And I see why when I hear people commit suicide. But you have to know... You need to talk to somebody that says it will get better. You know, I mean, you have to hear that. Because I was convinced I'm going to be in my own head the rest of my life. I'll never fucking make it.
Yep.
And it was tough because that was freshman in high school. And I was just starting football then. Double sessions and all that shit.
Did football help?
It distracted me a little bit, but not really.
Yeah.
Anytime I was by myself, whether it was a locker room and shit, I'm in my own head going, you're going crazy. Yeah. It was the most horrible... I've busted both my shoulders up. I've had 4 or 5 concussions. I have broken my nose, broke both hands. I would take all that at once over being depressed for a week. That's how fucking horrible it was.
How long did it last?
About a year, a little less than a year. I think maybe a little less than a year. But it was hormonal because it just sort of went away. But I had 2 panic attacks while that was going on, and I still remember them. I'm watching Fernwood Tonight. If you guys are my age, you remember Fernwood Tonight with Martin Mull. It was a spoof on sort of like Johnny Carson show.
Right.
And I watched it every night. I loved it. And I was watching it. Nobody was home. My parents were out to dinner. And I freaked out while I was watching it. I ran upstairs. I shut the TV and went to bed.
Damn.
And the other time was not long after that, a couple months later, I'm cutting the neighbor's grass for him, old Italian guy. And I fucking had a panic attack. Shut the lawnmower off, ran in my house, and went in my bedroom. Thought I was losing my fucking mind. I'll never forget those 2 things. Anyways. And then I got cancer. No.
Well, back to college. Yeah. So what was your major?
Why do you say it like that? It's obvious. Charm.
Underwater basket weaving.
Underwater? No, that's for the black kids. I'm kidding. They don't go underwater. They're
afraid of water.
I was a marketing major. Which, you don't know what you want to be. Yeah. They ask you, your sophomore year or whatever?
In high school.
Yeah, they ask you in whatever. Yeah. They ask you when you're 17. I want to major in pussy and Budweiser.
I know.
With a minor in Budweiser. So you don't know. Yeah. I'm like, marketing sounds easy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And let me tell you, to this day, folks, and it's not University of Maine's fault. It's my fault. And I'm not making a joke here. Marketing is the thing I know least about. I am not kidding you. My brother is a marketing guy. He worked for Time Warner Cable, starting off knocking on doors. I actually did it with him for the first year. He went on to be a high executive marketing and, retired a few years ago. 15 years ago. He's 2 years younger than me. I knew nothing about it. But if I could do it all over again, I'd go to Maine. I never had more fun in my goddamn life. You don't go up there to learn books, calculus. Yeah. You go up there, they teach you how to learn.
Yeah.
I mean, how to live on your own is what you're learning, really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, I'm going to use calculus. That'll come in handy when I'm telling dick jokes at the fucking
Well, I think, the point of college is to do just that, is just to teach you how to be an adult. Of course, they don't do that anymore.
To show up on time.
Yeah, now they just teach you how to be an activist. But
yeah, a left-wing activist.
Right. Exactly.
There was no...
Yeah.
So that was cool, though, going to class, and you're in a class of like 150 people, Yeah. It's kind of cool. You're in these beautiful seats. It's almost like being at a concert. Hey, boys and girls, real quick, I got dates, a couple dates confirmed. We're not going to put them up till we know everything. We're going to put like 4 or 5 stand-up dates that are at the end of the summer and fall. Actually, one in July. But if you want to support this show, go to nickdip.com, go to the merchandise page, which my wife busted her ass to make. We have hats, mugs, Nick DiPaolo crutches we have. Those things are flying off the shelf. And skateboards, glasses of iced tea with actual tea in them, with the Nick DiPaolo logo. Hope FedEx handles them carefully. So buy something there to support the show. Also, you can watch full episodes of my show and Louder with Crowder and all exclusive Rumble Premium content. You can do that ad-free with just one subscription. So join Rumble Premium by clicking the link in the description below. You'll be glad you did, folks. Now back to the show. Me.
Hi, good night, everybody.